What is going on YouTube? Hayden back making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as Zcash to BTC. Otherwise, we will be checking out a couple of very important things within the market. There is a possibility of a new channel potentially forming within some of the cryptocurrencies that I do want to take a closer look at, which could indicate that we could start to trade a little bit higher before we potentially see this major retracement we're all talking about and looking for. Otherwise, guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up. We're doing a giveaway at 10,000 subscribers. I believe we just broke, like I said, 9,600, which is absolutely phenomenal. Otherwise, let's jump right into today's episode. So as you guys can see, we're on the current coin market cap, and I do believe the market cap is definitely doing some pretty interesting things. You can see the Bitcoin dominance is 55.8%, which is starting to move up, trading very similar to what the other altcoins are doing. 24-hour volume is $83.3 billion, which is starting to retrace back down. We saw it back over here around $100 billion. So this retracement is lowering our volume. Then we see a market cap of 272, which was around 264 yesterday. So we're starting to see more money move into the market cap, and that is inevitably raising the prices. So as you can see, scrolling down to the top 10 cryptocurrencies, everything seems to be in green. EOS now up 9.5%, which is quite high if you ask me. Bitcoin is at 85.76, up 3.7. Ethereum up at 270, up 5.1%, and we see Litecoin still in the number 6 position, up about 5.2%, but about $600 million away from being the number 5 token. Otherwise, guys, showing you the other altcoins, or to get into the trading, you guys can see on Litecoin there is this possibility of a new uptrend forming, and I know that might be confusing to some, but if I just draw this a little bit darker right now, hopefully guys you can see what I'm seeing. So there is this possibility of movement like this, or we could start trading in between this triangle, and then we could see movement up here. So that is definitely a huge possibility and a huge factor to take into consideration when investing or looking at Litecoin. There is this potential uptrend that we could be missing out on. So even though the market is leaning towards overbought, there still is potential for it to trade in there. If I show you guys the 4-hour right now, you'll notice on the 4-hour, we're actually trading at around 55 on the RSI, which gives us plenty of potential to continue to trade up in the very short term. So we could see some more movement sideways and to the upside. So now going back to the daily on Litecoin's chart, you can see even though we are near overbought, there's still this potential for us to enter the overbought market and trade in there, which does give me some reason to believe we could see movement sideways like this, and it could lead to a breakout up here, which would be interesting. I think we're at our cap though. I think we're going to stay at this point. It's going to be the top for the next couple of days. I think 116, 117 looks to be the highest peak of the price that Litecoin seems to be having quite a bit of trouble, mainly because we are leaning towards that overbought market. But with us being up here, it looks like we're going to probably just trade down and then see another swing to the upside. So even with something like this, we could be buying in down on the dip and then reselling it up at the top, waiting for the confirmation up over here, and then we could see a potential run. If the coin enters an overbought market, we could really see this big retracement that we saw. Now, for all those who were looking at the candle a couple of days ago, this is very interesting. We actually saw a major swing to the upside to 120 and then a major retracement, and now we just closed practically at the same exact point. So for those of you who are watching me invest in Ethereum, it's pretty much a break even. Ethereum had actually no real major gain or loss on the coin, which is pretty awesome, and I think that's due to the fact that it is nearing this overbought market, which is, like I said, for high-risk traders to play around with. It's not something that I recommend people going in. I wanted to use this as an example to show you what the possibilities are, and we saw an ascending triangle that broke bullish, and we ended up retracing back down. Yeah, so you can see right here, very interesting actually with Ethereum. So for those of you who heard me invest into Ethereum, we're now right back into where we were. So we saw we had our, and for those of you who have me on Patreon who are, curious about what's going on with Ethereum, you can see we have this high resistance up at 270 and we have our ascending triangle. And you can see we actually managed yesterday to break right back into this ascending triangle. So this is literally, I think today, going to be the big giveaway whether or not we're going to break bullish or break bearish and pull all the way back down. But here is the moment of truth, and it's nice to see that even if this was a very wicked candle and nobody was really calling this major move in that direction, but we saw the retracement all the way back down and we pulled right back up to the breakout point, which is so odd, but that pretty much means we broke even if you sold. Otherwise, you guys are buying right back into here and holding it at 270, and we could still potentially see that break to the upside and that swing to the upside. Otherwise, going back to Bitcoin right now, you can see Bitcoin, guys, is trading out sideways. It is really nice to see that we are trading on a ascending triangle or in an uptrend. You can see we are starting to move slowly up on this purple uptrend right here. I know it's kind of steep, which could be an indicator that it can break through here quite quickly. I do just want to draw on some higher levels of resistance because, as you guys know, we are blasting through it. So you can see we do have resistance right here. I think this one looks really good right around here. I want to just zoom out so we can see the prices a little bit better. You can see it's really hard to graph this because this is when we exploded up to $20,000, and there's really no support or resistance right here. And then as we came down, it's the same thing. So we can clearly see one right here, but that really does seem to be it in terms of these resistances. So that does give us, a potential uptrend now. Now that we just drew this in, you can see we are trading up sideways. So now we do form an ascending triangle like this, and it does take a little bit of time, but we may see a pretty big move up here. It's just concerning to me when I see us have an ascending triangle like here and then we're trading so close to being overbought, and probably by the time we get up to here we will be overbought, and that is a pretty big indicator of a potential retracement to the downside. Also take into account we are so overextended from our high-low MMA. Our retracement once again is to the downside, and I understand that the markets can get pretty boring within cryptocurrency, and I've made numerous videos discussing this, that the markets can get boring. We can see consolidation, we can see trading sideways, but we're in it for the conservative approach of things. And with that being said, we're looking for the greatest opportunities with the least risk to be buying into the market and then trading off that. So you do have to be patient in markets like this. Otherwise, looking at Zcash, and we'll wrap up today's episode. Zcash also looks really good. Honestly, you can see, for those of you who are new to the channel, why we have these lines on Zcash. You can see if I just zoom back to previous history, bam, if it loads in. Okay, so you can see right here, it started off at this high, pretty much right here, which also is another support resistance that I can draw in. Okay, but you can see we pulled all the way back down, and we're setting our lowest lows right now. We've never been this low in Zcash before. Now understand, with Zcash, we were so extremely overbought that we practically have never been that low before, that it was almost bound to retrace back up. And you can see now it hit a previous resistance where we saw that that quick volatile move, that quick bend in price, and then we started to head up. Understand that we were extremely oversold. We are below the high-low MMA, and it was only about time before we started to retrace back up. So honestly, any buying opportunity down here was most likely going to lead to the coin retracing back up to this high-low MMA, coming back to a neutral level, and then potentially bouncing off that, if not trading back above it. So I do think there is still potential within Zcash. I think we are going to swing back up to here, and then we can start it's going to start to get a little more shady because it's going to near the overbought line. But otherwise, guys, that's going to sum up the episode for today. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up so I know you like the content. Otherwise, we're going to be doing a giveaway at 10K, so make sure you are subscribed and you're in it to win it. Otherwise, I'll see you in tomorrow's episode. Peace.